Hey John.
Hey, bud.
All right, we're live and kicking on YouTube, and we got a few people in studio here. I know there's
Hey, bud.
oh, sorry. Just give me one sec. There we go. I know we'll have a few more joining along the way here, so I'll manage that on my end there, John.
Okay.
For those of you listening on YouTube, or if you're here in studio with us, John's going to go through about three-ish 7-minute movement snacks, and at the end of the session, John is going to be available for any question answer, anything you want to ask. It can be something to do with what you learned today in the session, or it could just be a general movement exercise question. So that's what this session's for, is for you to ask questions to John. And of course, we're 7 movements, so we're going to do some moving today as well. So John, I'll let you take it away. I'll manage things here on the back end and watch
Cool.
all of the chats. If you do have a question, you can drop it in the chat at any time, and we'll get to them here at the end of the session. So take it away, Johnny.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Pain-Free Monday. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a little rub and scrub. So the first little section of this movement snack is all about creating circulation and some mobility. So the first thing I like doing is creating a little bit of circulation around the body. So we're going to kind of go to some strategic spots in the body here. The first one we're going to do is you're just going to rub your hands together, create a little bit of friction, and we're going to apply the same concept to certain parts of the body, the first being the collarbone. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your arm, put your hand across the top of your collarbone, and just create some friction there. So as we start to add some circulation and put some pressure on this bone and create a little bit of heat on it, it's going to aid in our arm going up and down and reaching. So that's what we're going to do. Some of these drills are going to involve some reaching today. So let's go to the other collarbone. Little rub and scrub there. Get that nice and warm. Go right onto the sternum. So I'm using my knuckles. Just rub that breastbone. Get right onto the ribs. Next spot you're going to go is to the back of the head. Fingertips across the back of the skull. Create nice, lots of heat so that the head and neck moves easier. Okay, let's take your knuckles again. We're going to go up and down on these little knobs that are on the outside of your thighs, called the greater trochanter of the hip. So it's a little bone on the outside of the femur where all these muscles on the outside of the thighs attach and cross this juncture. So it's a good spot to start mobilizing, getting some fluid to it. Okay, then we're going to go across your lower back with your knuckles. Right up and down. Create some heat there. Go a little bit lower, right to where your lumbar spine to your sacrum. Going across that spot there. Okay, so let's do a little, we've created a little bit of friction there. Let's mobilize this hip a little bit. So we're gonna put one foot further forward than the other, hands on your hips. Let's just slide your hips left or right. Nice and easy. So imagine that you're standing right in front of a wall. Your hips move side to side. We're not falling forward. Just glide that hip left to right. Put the other foot forward, same drill. Nice and easy. Frontal plane motion of the pelvis makes the lumbar lower back area feel really nice. Okay, put the other foot forward. Now we're just gonna add a little twist. Nice and slow. Notice how the foot is grabbing the ground. So we're getting some motion not only at the pelvis, but also in the hip joint, the foot and the ankle, and also in the spine. Okay, other foot forward, same drill. Okay, put your feet a little bit closer than hip width together. You're just going to draw a circle with your pelvis. Getting some circumduction in and around the pelvis. Drawing big circles like you do in the hula hoop. Okay, other direction. Okay, and on this one, we're going to mobilize the pelvis, but the hips go back, then they go forward. Reach the tilt that hips back and forward. Okay, put one foot further forward than the other, same drill. Hip goes forward and back. Other foot forward, same drill, pelvis reach. Okay, take a really wide stance here. We're going to take your opposite shoulder down and towards one foot, then the opposite shoulder down and towards the other foot. So it's mobilizing the capsule of the hip and involving the trunk as well. Nice and slow. Okay, bring your feet closer together. Little march in one place. We're gonna do a little activation for the hip. So you're gonna put all your load into one leg. So kind of grab the ground with your foot. And we're gonna see if you can balance on one foot. And here you're just gonna pretend to be like a little airplane. So a little airplane. Okay, you're not going into full airplane yet. Just tilt at the hip. And that's gonna turn on this muscle in the backside called your glute. Tilt forward, touch that foot behind you. Tilt forward. Back stays straight. Shoulders stay wide. Okay, let's do the other one now. So grab the ground with your whole foot. Reach that hip back. Stand up. One more. One more time. Good job. Let's go ahead and give your body a little clap. Wake it up a little bit more. A little sensory stimulation here. We're going to go into some integrated movements. Okay. Let's start with some squatting. Squatting is folding the body. So we're going to do it in a standing position, the squat. What I'm going to have you do is we're going to play around with your stance today. Okay, so you can put one foot further forward than the other. Hands are on your hips. All we're going to do is we're going to try and lower yourself to the ground. So on my back foot, my heel's off the ground. And we're just going to lower ourselves towards the ground. This little mini squat. You only go as far as you feel comfortable. If you're really adventurous, you can get it all the way down to the ground. Just make sure you can get all the way back up. Okay, then we're going to put the other foot forward. Back heel off the ground. Straight up and down. Straight up and down. You can notice that with that heel off the ground in this 1.5 stance or staggered stance, more of your weight is shifted towards your front leg. You don't want to shift your weight onto your back leg, keep that weight on your front. Okay, one time. Good job. We're going to go really wide stance like a sumo wrestler. Turn your toes out. As you go down, you're going to reach your arms forward for me. So we go down, reach the arms forward, come back up. Down, reach the arms forward, come back up. Think long through the spine, wide through the shoulders. 3 more. And 1 more. Good. Wiggle your feet in a little bit closer. We're gonna go really narrow with your stance now. Okay, just like you're skiing. Hands are gonna go out in front of you. Just so you're sitting back into a chair. Here comes the chair lift. You gotta sit down onto that chair. 3 more. And last one. Okay, good job. We're squatting. Just do a little bit of a march here. One of the kind of unforgotten exercises, the march. Such an excellent activity. Really teaches you how to interact with the ground, how to punch the ground underneath you. Start going a little bit wider with your march. Back to narrow. Wide. Narrow. One more time. Wide. Narrow. Okay, we're gonna play around with the way your feet look. Turn your toes in and try to march. That's gonna feel really goofy in the hip joint, and that's on purpose. The design of this is to have to collapse and compress the capsule of the hip, which acts as a little bit of an active stretch for that hip joint. Marching with the toes in, knees coming close together. Good, and then we're gonna go back to neutral. And should feel like this hip just wants to whip up higher now and faster. Okay, and then turn your toes out. Kind of walking like a duck. Okay, this next one we're going to work on is bringing your heel towards your bum. You're going to bring your heel up, kind of like almost like a reverse march. Instead of a high knee, it's a high heel. You're just going to lift it up like you're kicking yourself in the bum. This teaches these muscles to turn on quickly. Okay, keep your weight on the ball of your foot rather than on your heel, because your heel's got to come off the ground. We don't want your heel on the floor. Go. Okay, let's see if we can do it while shuffling now. A shuffle pattern is moving side to side. So let's move side to side. Stay on the ball of the foot. Heels don't touch the ground. Marching side to side. Pump your arms. Side to side. Okay, now we're going to do it where you march with your heels coming up. All right, drive your heel into your bum. Still making contact with the ball of the foot. Very good. Take a wide stance. You're going to take your opposite hand. You're going to reach down towards your ankle. Bring it back up high. Go to the other side. The ankle. Bring it up high. Just transition a little bit quicker. Keeping this little cardio session up. Two more. One more. Good job. Bring your feet together. You're going to cross one foot in front, 1 foot behind. 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind. Same thing coming the other direction. This is called karaoke. Not to be confused with karaoke, where we hang around, drink beer, and sing songs. Karaoke. Crossing over, crossing behind. Crossing over, crossing behind. You pick what speed you want to move at. You want to keep it just kind of at walking speed. Or if you want to keep it a little quicker, you choose how quickly you want to move. And the last drill we're gonna do is just a single leg swing. You're gonna stand on one leg and just swing the other foot out in front of you. If you need something to balance, feel free to grab your chair or your walking stick. And then you can determine how high you want to swing your leg. Okay, let's do the other side. There you go. Added a little dynamic swing and balance in there for you. Okay. The last portion of the movement strategies that we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of recovery. And I'd like you to, if you have a chair with you, we're just going to grab my chair here. Grab your chair. We're going to do a little bit of recovery stuff. So I can use the back end of my chair, put my hands on it. I'm going to walk away, so a good arm's length away. And I'm just going to hinge my bum, reach it back, let my hands just fall into the chair, just stretch into my upper back. Take some really long, deep breaths. Down that rib cage. Breathe that air. Okay. Now you're going to take one hand, keep it on the chair. The other hand's going to dangle in front of you like you're an elephant. And we're just going to reach it up, turn your body, come back down nice and slow. Up, turn your shoulders, turn your eyes, come back down. Okay, switch sides. Let other arm dangle like an elephant. Trunk. Reaching and rotating. Okay. Spin that chair around in front of you. I'm going to elevate one foot onto the chair. Stay nice and tall through the body, wide through the shoulders, point my toe up towards the ceiling, and just hold that pose. Okay, if you feel like you need a bigger stretch in this hamstring, you just lean forward a little bit. Take some deep breaths. Okay, go ahead and switch legs. Go up towards the ceiling. We'll lean forward so you feel stretch in the hamstring. Hold that position. Nice relaxing breaths. I'm going to take the chair, I'm going to move it to the side of my body. So along my side, I'm going to reach the outside leg further from the chair behind me. Hold that position. You're just going to take the same side arm, reach it up to the ceiling. Tuck your pelvis down. Think about staying as straight as you can through the spine. As you reach up and on your back foot, your heels on the ground. Okay, switch. Arm up to the ceiling. And on the last one, we're going to go into a seated position on your chair. You're going to take the outside ankle and put it up onto the outside knee. So we'll see if you have the range of motion to get it up there. If you don't, we're just going to actively slide your foot up your leg. Okay, if you can get it all the way up there, we're just going to rest it there. Try to sit up in your chair. You have nice tall posture, and we're just going to hold that pose. Take some deep breaths. Wide through the shoulders, long through the spine, head through the ceiling. Slowly switch to the other side. Nice and tall. You can unlock your hips, slide to the front of your chair. We're just going to do a little pat of the feet, just like you're playing drums for the band Rush. You're going to play the drums like Neil Peart used to, really fast with the feet. Okay, and then little body pop on the thigh. Wake ourselves up. Feel fresh to take on the rest of the day. There we go. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. And you feel a little bit more loosey-goosey through the spine, through the hips, and through the shoulders. That was our goal today.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. So if you are in studio, you can drop any question in the chat or just raise your hand and I'll come to you first. We have a few questions coming from YouTube. John, maybe I'll kick things off while people get ready here. So we had one question come in that said, this feels different than a regular workout. How would you explain the difference between what you're doing and a regular workout, I guess is the question, John.
The outcome on this was really just to connect with our bodies. So us doing an inventory of how all the connective tissue is attached to the body. So we started with a rub and scrub and then did some mobilizers. So we went to key areas of the joints to improve mobility. So think of like the first section as kind of like your warm-up. That's us just kind of exploring how's the body feeling, going to strategic points that sometimes get kind of sticky from our everyday activities or perhaps sitting for long periods of time. So I went to some of the regions that usually get stuck from us being at computers or in front of screens. And then the second part was just kind of integrating. Today I had a little bit more of a locomotion slash, you can maybe call it a little bit more of a cardiorespiratory move in time and space. So that was the strategy there. And then the last one was just a little bit of recovery. So overall, we're taking kind of like the look of what a normal workout would be, which would be like, what's your warm up? What's the goal of the day? And then how do you recover after your workout? And all we did is we shrunk the dose so that we were only about 7 minutes in each segment. So we did 21 minutes of movement as opposed to maybe 60 movements. So we cut the total duration by 2/3 for that little workout.
Awesome. Got another one here that's just asking about not being able to do all of the movements that you did. So what should they do when they can't do a movement that you're showing them on the screen?
Our goal is always to expand your bubble, but diminish your bubble if it doesn't look like my bubble. So if you're trying to move in sync with me or in time with me or as far as me, you don't have to. All we do is we just don't go quite as far. Don't travel as fast. Don't move into a deeper position than I'm going. Remember, the movement itself is not that you have to do it just like me. It's to mimic the movement in time and space and find what position makes you feel the most comfortable. And so it might not be, maybe the karaoke wasn't for you. Maybe it was like, oh, it's too much coordination the first time I try it. That's okay. Spend the rest of the week now practicing that movement skill. One forward, or one crosses in front, one crosses behind, one crosses in front, one crosses behind, and then challenge yourself on doing the other side. And then as we start to get more comfortable with that motor skill, then we can start increasing speed and challenge to it. Having a knee come up a little bit higher instead of just your foot crossing. That's what I mean by expanding your bubble. Take one motor skill, practice it, make it so that it's something that you can do, and you can do it with good rhythm and timing. And then as we keep practicing, we're going to get better and better at it. It's just like learning how to ride a bicycle. The first time you ride a bike, it was really hard to be able to balance on it, steer, and pedal all at the same time. But once you have it forever. Some of these patterns you might have been able to do when you were younger or when you were participating in sports, and you might not be doing that anymore. That motor pattern's in there. We just have to dust it off a little bit and give you some practice in a way that makes you feel comfortable, and then eventually you'll become efficient at it again.
Awesome. Little extension on that question is what should I do if I'm with somebody who's sitting down? I'm assuming that means they can't probably stand up. Maybe they're in a chair or something. What would you recommend they do to follow along with a session like this?
Yeah, so mimic. Remember, the brain learns motor patterns and will store that motor pattern in the motor cortex. And so the visual motor cortex is you will be motor learning just by watching, even if you're not doing. So what you could do then is mimic what you're seeing as though your body's moving in time and space, but I'd be doing it with that footwork pattern. Just back up so you can see my feet. So I would go cross over, cross behind, cross over, cross behind, cross over, cross behind. And then eventually I might be able to do it without traveling. And I'm just going cross over, cross behind, cross over, cross behind. You get the idea? So we're taking a motor task, which was walking in this goofy way. And now what we're doing is we're breaking it up into movements. So we took a motor skill and broke it down into a movement. So I'm seated here and I'm crossing over, I'm crossing behind, I'm crossing over, I'm crossing behind. And I'm just adding complexity or a different environment or position as I'm doing it. So we call that chunking the motor task. The task was walking, and then I went, well, what are the movements? Well, the movement was crossing over, and then I just shrink it and add just those motor skills. So we can do all those skills that we were doing before just in the chair. So it might be a wide stance shift, right? So we did that drill, but now I'm doing it in a chair. So you can mimic where I go in time and space. All you've done is changed what position you started in. Instead of being standing, you're seated. Just mimic that pattern, and it will start to load that motor pattern so that when you get standing again, we can start to shrink your bubble and just start shifting maybe your head over your foot. Shifting your head over your foot, right? And then that leads to being wide, shifting your head over your foot, right? And so the body starts to organize itself that way.
Great. They really like that, John. So Patricia's there with her mom and dad. And dad's in a wheelchair. So he likes your answer apparently. So this is really good.
Great.
Awesome. Awesome. Another kind of common question we got, but we'll keep answering it as they come in. So someone is planning a workout before or after this session. What would you recommend? Is this session better for after the workout or before the workout? And I know the answer is both or either or, but like what would you recommend somebody who's going, sounds like they're going to the gym or something before or after?
Well, guess what? I'm doing the same thing, and I strategically planned my gym session right after this one because I knew I'd feel really great going to the gym, as this is kind of like how I could prep my body and get some good circulation going through before I go and challenge myself a little bit further. So in today's case, I'm going to use it as a kind of like an active warm-up. But if you've already exercised earlier in the day, how good do you feel right now? So oftentimes we do our recovery right after our workout, but our nervous system is still kind of fired up a little bit, right? It's like, wow, I just finished a workout. It's hard to really recover immediately after the workout, but a couple hours later, this can serve as an awesome way just to keep fluid moving through the body, stop you from getting quite so stiff and stagnant after your workout, and just kind of feel great. So I like doing things like these little 21-minute little drills right after dinner. So, you go and you eat, you've sat down, you've had a lovely meal, you let it digest for a little bit, and then do a little bit of this before you go to bed. And your body will feel great before you go and need to crash and recover overnight.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I think that's it for questions. So I'll just suggest to everybody we had, see, 70 some odd people join us on YouTube today. Come register, come join us in studio. John loves to see the names on the screen, even if you don't want to put your video on. If you put your video on, he gets even more excited because he likes to see faces and that kind of stuff. We do this every Monday at this time, Pain Free Movement Monday. It's free. So come join us over here if you're over on YouTube. Special thanks to Karen, Greg, and Dana, who did join us live in the studio today. So really grateful to have you here. And hopefully we'll see you next